So here's a bit of a treat for you guys. Welcome to Pentium 2 Adventures Part 1. Pentium 3 Adventures will be continuing sometime later in the week. I've got the thing on the internet now. It actually browses pretty well. I've been playing some Rust a lot lately, and it will load up web pages fine. It's got the latest Flash player, yet PowerPC does not. So yeah, surprisingly, yeah, there's a hack because it's based on x86. It will run on there. It runs slow, but hey, I mean, at least you got Flash player. But today's video, we're actually going to be talking about this Quantex Pentium 2 I actually picked up at the Goodwill for $6. This thing is a custom computer. I think that Quantex just made the case. But anyway, let's just take a look at the insides of this Pentium. This particular unit features a 235 watt ATX Sparkle power supply. Yeah, I think this is actually a custom gaming computer because I looked up Quantex and I don't think they were ever really an OEM manufacturer. Looking there, you can see that it's got a, I believe that this is called Slot 1 Pentium 2. And there you've got 4 RAM slots. And this is, I believe it's SD RAM. So I should be able to load it up with RAM, and this thing should play some DOS games really good. It'll even play some early 90s games. It's got a sound card. I'm not exactly 100% on what that sound card is, but we're going to be taking a look at it. And way down there, you probably can't see it, is a network card. The network card is probably either going to be coming out of here or something. I do have a Sound Blaster card that's probably going to be going into this system. There's no hard drive because the original owners decided they were going to be idiots, and they decided that they were just going to slap job rip out the hard drive and just throw the thing back into the system. I don't even know if it works. So obviously I got some metal to bend back into place because those guys decided that they were just going to be butts and not respect the old hardware and just pretty much gave it to Goodwill expecting it to be recycled. So anyway, let's get on with it. Okay guys, so I just got back out from the garage from doing just a little bit of metal work on the thing. I don't have a rubber mallet as of right now, so I was unable to get the drive thing, but the good news is I don't really plan on having more than one hard drive in this system. I'm gonna see, I think I have like a 2 gig hard drive laying around in the garage somewhere. And then I am basically, I bent it back to the point of where I just gotta get it a bit more, it'll fit into there. It's kind of flexible, but it's coming through worse than it actually is. The original owners just sort of trashed this thing, but I at least got out this side for right now. So we'll see if I gotta find some screws because as of right now the screw holes I don't have any screws for, so I'm probably gonna go to the MDD and just take some screws out of it, probably from the motherboard or something like that, and then I can start the assembly of this computer. Alright guys, so it fits into there. It's kind of a wonky case design. Not the worst case I've ever worked on, but like I said, I'm going to need to get the screws. So now I'm going to see if I can get all the drives I need mounted and then plugged in, and then we'll turn it on and just see what happens. Okay guys, so I've got a 3 gigabyte IBM drive. I believe that this has Windows 95 installed on it, but it's just going to be a driver mess. So we're going to be installing 95. I don't have any CDs either. I don't have any money for CDs. So unless I can find a CD that I can install Windows 95 over, looks like we're going to be going through floppy hell with this thing. But we do have a floppy disk drive. Hopefully this thing works because it's going to be a long video, so get your popcorn. If this thing doesn't work, I'm going to be taking that apart and applying some lubrication to it. But hopefully everything goes swell and there are no hardware issues. But knowing my luck, there will probably be oodles of hardware issues. Tightening the screw. And then I'm going to go and get some more screws from the MDD. and then we can get the hard drive mounted. Okay guys, floppy drive mounted in there fine, so now it's time to mount the hard drive on the bottom, so that way when it goes into the system it should be able to connect to the cables fine. Okay guys, both hard drive and floppy drive are now ready to be mounted into the system, and then I'm just going to do a quick cable check to make sure it's not going to blow up, and then we are ready to fire it up. You work on computers for 4 years and you still make the mistake of putting in the IDE cable just a little bit too fast, just a little bit too hard, and you end up bricking a hard drive. So looks like we're gonna be taking this entire hard drive out of here, and I don't have a hard drive that'll fit Windows 95. Actually, yeah, I do. It's in here, so I'm actually pretty much done playing Half-Life, so we're just gonna turn off the Pentium 3 for now. And we're gonna take, since the Pentium 3 with Windows 98, it'll accept a larger hard drive. So I think I'm just going to take the hard drive out of here, a 4 gig hard drive, put it into this one, and then not screw up the pin thing. Alright guys, so the Pentium 2, I got the hard drive, which I just noticed as I'm filming this, that the hard drive is actually not currently plugged into power, so I'm gonna have to quickly plug in this Molex power connector into the hard drive. So this is the 4 gig from the Windows 98 Pentium 3 computer, and so now I'm gonna just we're gonna boot it up without the side on. We're just gonna turn it up though, so that the carpet does not affect it. Okay guys, so I'm just going to hit the power button. Now it's important, kids, whenever you're working with these things, you never know if the power supply is full of blown capacitors. And if you're touching the outer wall of it when you boot it up, you could get shocked to death. So always just hit it and run is what I say. Smoke test. That didn't do much. Take 2. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's plugged in. There's power running to it. It could be a bad... stupid dogs. It could be a bad power supply. Or I should probably check it and just see if the power button's connected. Welcome back to the adventures of Senior Stupid and his trusty steed, the dog outside, who just won't shut up. I'd say I'm Senior Stupid for this very reason. If you were to take a look at the front of this computer, you will notice 2 buttons. There is a reset switch and a power button. Guess which one. Take a wild guess. I'll give you 3 seconds. Which one was Senior Stupid pressing? Senior Stupid was pressing the reset switch. And that's what I love about these old PCs. You know, like with Macs, they're so straightforward. I mean, you can look up guides, but for these old custom PCs, you never know, you know. Their personalities really show about the person who built them. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the power button this time. So, take 2. That's nice. And now let's see what comes up on the screen. Let me just hit this light off. 128 megs of RAM. Flash that straight on the screen. It's testing all the RAM. Let's see if we can enter. Let's see if we can enter the BIOS. Okay. Did we successfully enter the BIOS? Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. No USB. I may have to dig out a PS2 keyboard. Because this is obviously not going to do anything with this, so let me just dig out a PS2 keyboard. But this looks promising, I'll give it that. So I went out and to the garage, dug out this terrible Dell keyboard, but it's PS2, so it should work. And then I'm going to be having to use a PS2 mouse in a very interesting way that you'll see later. Okay, so I've got both a Dell mouse and Dell keyboard connected. Now this mouse, I don't have a ball for, so I'm just gonna have to stick my thumb in there and just manually move the wheels. So that should be quite interesting. So without further ado, let's hit the right button this time and start her up. Alright, 4 megabyte. Okay, let's just see if we can enter setup. Alright, here we are on the BIOS. See if they've got virus warnings, CPU, boot sequence. I don't think this chip's overclockable. Standard. Maybe it'd be under power management. People drive like crazy, especially near LA, but this is more or less way north of LA. This is like mid-California, but people still drive like lunatics. Power management. Nope. No overclocking. I don't think that the Pentium 2 is really all that good overclocking anyway. Yes. Exit without saving. Yes. I do not have a Windows 95 boot disk as of right now. So I'm deciding, do I want to put Windows 95 on this thing? It's a Pentium 2, so I may as well put Windows 95 on the thing. And then since it's got 4 slots, I'm just going to fill out each slot with a 64 meg stick. And that'll run Windows 95 absolutely fine. Trevor, I believe he has his computer, doesn't it have like, it's 46. I'm probably going to ask you anyway, but I think it has like 16 megs of RAM. But anyway, we're just sort of in a cycle here, and I'm just sort of talking. So we're just going to exit without saving, and then we're going to make a Windows 95 boot disk, like a, not even a boot disk, most likely just a boot floppy. So we'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to be making 12 floppies on this Pentium 3, so I need to go to Facebook. I need to go to Facebook, mobile. I go to the mobile website in general, and on this, I need to log into my second Facebook account. I need to go into there. I need to quickly log into my second Facebook account so that the second Facebook was my first account I ever made on Facebook. I keep it around for things like this. So now I can access, this is Facebook mobile, this is not full Facebook. Full Facebook just takes forever on this Pentium 3, but here I can scroll down, I can see what people put. So now I need to go to chat, and it should show, alright, here we are, Carlos Santana. And error, of course you're going to give me an error at this point. Invalid character. Alright, let's go back. Here, alright, well, I'll send my Cole Stalter account a message. We'll just put random letters from that account, so it should show under notifications or messages. I should be able to get this. Alright, so now I can just go see older messages. Error. Okay. I get it now. Well. Okay, new plan, right? Alright, hear me out here. Alright? I get an old version of Skype. I make a second Skype account. I then download the floppies on here, and I do a file transfer over to here of all the images. Since this floppy drive that I have over USB that's connected to my quad core doesn't work, so basically I gotta get Skype running on Windows 98, gotta make another account, sign into that Skype account, then friend my real account on Skype with the transfer account, and then do a file transfer straight to this Pentium 3, and then we can finally begin burning the floppies. Just so that we can get Windows 95, and just so that one CD would solve this, but no, we're not doing that. Okay, so oldapps.com couldn't help me, but I did find this cool website called oldskype.com, so we'll just try 2006 3.0. So download Skype. Yes, I want to save the file. We're going to save it to my documents folder on this Pentium 3. and it loads it up just fine. It scrolls. It's got 2 tabs open right now. That's the downloads thing. It's actually pretty zippy. It's got 256 megs of RAM, this Pentium 3, and the latest flash. So I'm not going to show you guys it playing a video. That'll be in Pentium 3 Adventures Part 3, which is coming later this week. But we'll just wait for that to download. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is Skype for Windows 98. Ironically, the last time it dropped support was around 2008. So, alright, so it's extracting the files, and it should be able to install. This is not the absolute latest version, but it's a safe bet that it'll run on Windows 98 just fine. I really love this Pentium 3. Alright, so I'm going to create a new Skype account, and then I'm going to register it, and then we can begin the file transfer. Alright, so I've inputted all my information, and now it's going to take a bit. It's communicating with the Skype servers. The servers are probably like, what? But no, I think they'll handle it just fine. So it's got to communicate with Skype servers and say, hey, I want to join Skype. And that can take up to 5 minutes is how much it took on my iMac. So now we wait. Well, that plan failed. I'm like Wile E. Coyote with these plans. For the amount of time that I put in here, I could have literally walked down. I could have found enough change in the couch cushions, walked down to the store and bought 3 CDRs. But no, we're committed to doing this. So here's the new plan. I am going to use my Gmail account. I'm going to somehow use this computer to sign into the Gmail account. I am then going to upload that to my SkyDrive and then download. Problem solved. Okay, so it should be opening up the email I sent myself with the attachments. The Pentium 3 is quite slow, but I'm not getting out the Pentium 4. I wonder if there's a mobile Outlook site. While that's loading, let's just see. I just want to see if there's a mobile Outlook. There's a mobile Facebook and a mobile YouTube. Oh, here we are. Oh. It does sort of look like it. There may be an Outlook mobile. So, hasn't loaded up yet. My guess is the browser's probably crashed, so let's just try it again. Okay guys, so I am done with this for tonight. It's 7 o'clock. I just want to kick back and play some Rust. So, next cut, the video doesn't end here. Next cut is just going to be Saturday afternoon and me continuing this. So as promised, it is now the next day. It is now Saturday afternoon. And I gave totally up on floppies. I think it's pretty ridiculous because this is all the floppies I pretty much have left that I have not used yet. And it would require every single one of these floppies to install Windows 95 onto this computer. And if one fails, then we're just out in the water. So I'm going to have to pick up some more floppies if I ever come across some more. And here we've got the CD. I got a CD. This is only one CD, but it's rewritable. So that means we can write this and erase it over and over. And we are going to install it onto this Pentium 2 computer. Also, here's something interesting. I'm not sure if I showed you this, but this entire top had writing over it on this tower, on the metal part of it. It had writing on it. I was able to scrub all that off last night before I went to bed. So it seems like everything is turning out for this computer. So let me just see if I can burn a Windows 95 CD and then we'll be in business hopefully. Okay, so I keep getting this stupid error, which is invalid system disk error, whenever I try to boot into the Windows 95 disk. So here's the idea. I am going to swap these IDE cables and change the CD-ROM to the primary boot and then that to the secondary, and then maybe that'll work. Okay, so IDE cables are now swapped. Pressing the power button. It's not plugged in. Pressing it again. Alright, gives the power up sign. Okay, so hopefully now, I just cannot find the switching in this. Alright, so hopefully now it'll do this because I really am hating this. Verifying it's invalid system disk. What a load of crap. Okay guys, so here's some form of something happening. I actually was able to get into the BIOS. I figured it out pretty much. And I was able to change it so that it boots from the D drive. And that is assuming, that the CD-ROM drive is the D drive. Because on this computer it's the D drive. But on this computer, it's the E drive, I guess. It's just anyone's guess. Invalid system disk. Well, that sucks. Maybe we'll try the E drive this time. That's another idiotic thing if I've ever seen one. CD-ROM. It was one click away. So now, hopefully, if I exit, save and exit setup. Alright, exit setup with saving. Maybe now, maybe it shall boot into the CD-ROM setup. So it's going to try to boot into that CD-ROM drive right there. Maybe now we will get this. Feels as though I keep hearing that zip drive is doing stuff. Detecting IDE primary. Secondary master, ST. I may need to swap the things because it doesn't seem to be recognizing the CD-ROM. It's recognizing this though. It's recognizing the hard drive. It's just not recognizing the CD-ROM. So perhaps I need to switch the cables again. Now hopefully I've swapped both the IDE cables now with the BIOS configured correctly. Maybe it's forgetting its BIOS thing if I leave it off for too long because I did have to take out the battery. See if I can focus on there. Yeah, I did have to take out this CMOS battery. But anyway, let's just turn her on. Of course it'd help if she was powered on. Let's see here. Come on now. My chair just squeaks so much. Alright. Perhaps now. Let's quickly enter setup and just see what we can see, I guess. I just want to see if it's still loaded the BIOS. Nope. It forgot it, so let's just switch it back to CD-ROM CA. Escape out of there. By the way, the CPU is 233 megahertz. Keep hearing that floppy drive, or is that the zip drive starting up? Invalid system disk. Looks like I am going to have to talk to Trevor about this one. I did it. I didn't even focus before doing this, but I did it. Microsoft Windows 95 setup. Solved it all by myself. High five, camera. High five. That was stupid. But anyway, I did not get to talk to Trevor, didn't get to talk to anybody who actually knew what they were doing. I didn't get to talk to anybody, but I pretty much solved my problem. Here's the issue. Stupid zip drive was basically, the jumper on the zip drive was in master. So this was in cable select. So this was conflicting. I unplugged the zip drive and wham, we've got that. So here we are with the Windows 95 setup. So I'm going to proceed with setup and then we can get going with this. It's now formatting drive C. So so far I'm calling it a success. So I am, however, once I get some money, I'm going to have to stop by Batteries Plus and I'm going to have to pick up a new CMOS battery for this system in order to get it to really remember my settings. But as of right now, that's not going to be an issue. I'm considering actually putting in this sound card into the system, and but right now I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want to get something working here, and if I can get it to boot up by just hitting the power button, I'm calling that a success, at least for now. So I'm now in the setup wizard. Welcome to Windows 95 setup. This is a ball mouse. Select the directory I want to install under C. Next. So it's preparing the directory, and I will see you guys when setup has finished installing. Some of these things, like, oh yeah, just start reading, just plug it in, turn it on, this is how easy it is to install. Plug and play devices, some of these, how am I supposed to read that? It stays on for 5 seconds. I know it's a minor thing, but jeez. Even Windows Me has a slower thing that expects you to actually read stuff. Here it is, getting ready to run Windows 95 for the first time. I had, although it was harder to get started, it was easier, I think, really. Like, I've installed, Windows XP is a very easy operating system to install. So it's continuing to load Windows apparently, but no, Windows 98 I think I had the hardest time. Windows 95, once I was able to get the BIOS configured, it went pretty smoothly. So it's setting up hardware for plug and play, and it should be booting. So now we got Windows 95. So if you hit the power button, it boots into Windows 95. So that is great. There will probably be a Pentium 4 Adventures. I think that'll probably just be a series I'm gonna have going on this channel, Pacific Time. Okay, yeah. It's not 1997. I wonder if this board is yeah, it's Y2K compatible. What's the max date it goes to? No, it goes to, yeah, it goes to like 2085, which is pretty good. So we're actually just gonna set this. There's no battery in it, so I'm just gonna forget it. It's 2009. Plus, this computer's not gonna be connected to the internet anyway. So, all right, set up printer. No, I do not want to set up a printer. I don't want to. Setup has configured your system. So now it should start straight up into Windows 95 now. So it's got to restart apparently to apply changes. Yeah, Pentium 4 Adventures will continue because I hate that Dell. I absolutely hate that Dell, and it's not worth it for me to replace it with another power supply. And what that Dell needs, I've done a video about. It needs a new graphics card, it needs a new hard drive, it needs a new power supply, and it needs a sound card. Oh, look at it. It's beautiful. It's Windows 95 time. It's Windows 95 time. That should be a t-shirt. Finalizing. Here we are, guys. Welcome to Windows 95. Start button. Alright, so this is Windows 95. I don't think that this one actually has Internet Explorer though. No. Oh, it does. It has. Oh, that is horrid. Remember how Internet Explorer for a little bit there around 2011 had that whole commercial and it said, "We met in the 90s." And I'm like, oh, that is such good marketing. And then you go and you use Internet Explorer and it's just horrible, and then you realize that you just want to forget about the 90s. But anyway, I'm just rambling, so I will see you guys in part 2 of Pentium 2 Adventures, and until then, kick it.